Welcome to another edition of Motherland. Today we'll be looking at the reasons why Igbos are hated. A few years ago, after independence, a few young military officers staged a coup and the entire blame was heaped on the Igbos. The result was the annihilation of over 3 million Igbos and the confiscation of Igbos' properties and the availing of £20 stipend as startup for Igbos in 1970. They didn't complain even though the theme of the end of the war was no victor, no vanquish. Igbos were promised to be rehabilitated, reconstructed, and reconciled with other nationalities. They didn't protest, rather they picked up the broken pieces of the war disasters and start building out their lives again. Igbo waited for the federal government establishments to be built in Igbo land, and for many years they were neglected. The second Niger bridge that started over 40 years ago became a mockery of infrastructural development in Igbo land when compared with other zones with federal government of Nigeria blueprints for railway network, industrial hubs, super highways, seaports, and petrochemical sites. It was a clear-cut strategy policy by federal government to make Igbo land an area of hopelessness. Igbo started to migrate to other parts of the country so as to survive, and yet they became haunted. They never fought their host communities, rather they tried to help build up their economics, and with the resilient attitude to benefit from their sweat. The Nigerian Biafran War ended over 50 years ago. But the truth is that Igbo are still being fought against by Nigeria from every angle. If they talk, they are told that they are making a public nuisance. If they shout, they are told that they are loud-mouthed. If they cry, they are told to keep quiet or relocate to Igbo land. If they acquire properties, they are told that they are very greedy and very much ingratitude. Whenever you see an Igbo person, he is either told that he is not part of Nigeria or he has a limit to the leadership of Nigeria. They are now becoming more inclined to part of the US USPC, where they are not seen as Nigeria, neither are they part of Biafra. On the 25th of February 2023, Nigeria presidential election, Igbo were openly denied their voting rights in many parts of Nigeria. Even at that, every Nigerian that voted Labour Party is assumed to be an Igbo. APC's deformed regime has forgotten that many Nigerians are angry with the obnoxious policies, and with such melancholy, Nigerian youth demonstrated their anger on their ballot boxes that were later stolen by INEC officials. Many Igbos were harassed and some beaten with dangerous weapons in Lagos and Rivers State particularly. Until date, no one has been arrested or prosecuted. Today has been heightened by open verbal attack and intimidations of Igbos in Lagos. Most of them may not go out to vote for the gubernatorial election in Lagos because violence against the Igbos have started with the fire incident in Akere Spare Parts Market on the 8th of March, mainly dominated by Igbo traders. The irony of Asiwaju losing Lagos State should have vindicated the Igbos, as many other nationalities in Lagos voted massively for Peter Obi. But it has been degraded to Igbos' shrewd tactics to take over Lagos, a Yoruba ancestral land, a delusion that can only be asserted by hatred. How many Igbos are vying for the governorship position of Lagos State? This is the agony of being an Igbo person in the present configuration of Nigeria. Historically, and with a calculated policy initiative of the federal government of Nigeria that never cares about Igbo land development, migration becomes the norm of Igbos to survive in Nigeria. Yes, Igbos are known as migrants who pride of doing their business with every diligence. They are enterprising and they lived on a life of Unya Galawaneya. They celebrated competence, character, integrity, and hard work. Their abhorrence to laziness, and hence they introduced the best marketing strategy in apprenticeship, a concept that eliminates envy and competition among themselves, a concept that builds wealth in a confluencing system, a concept where everyone stands for one another, a concept that has become a global marketing strategy and now being studied in most of the universities. They are traders, that's their vocation, and they understand the terrain of how to navigate towards making money. Despite all the odds of federal government policy against the Igbos, they strive to make money. In all these anti-Igbo federal government policies, Igbos never complained or argued. The issue is, who can they complain to? In most federal establishments, military and other offshoots, they have been reduced to the worst numerical strength. Who shall they complain to? Politically, when MKO ridiculed all the Igbos with a haughty remarks that he can do without the Igbos, Igbos still voted for him. They didn't complain and they didn't argue. When MKO's election was annulled in 1993, Igbos stood up with the Yorubas to fight the injustice. When Nadeko hoisted his declaration, many Igbos were signatories. No one accused the Igbos of being arrogant or tribalist. They fought the justice together because they believe that an injury to one is an injury to all. When in 1999, the Fourth Republic was declared, Olusegun Obasanjo contested with Dr. Ikweme. When OBJ was declared the PDP flag bearer, Igbos supported and voted for OBJ despite winning their own son of the soil. While Obasanjo lost most part of the Yoruba land, Igbos gave him 85% of votes. They weren't arrogant or tribalist. They were all one, and Igbos were not told that they are arrogant or tribalist. Igbos voted massively for Obasanjo, and this time increased the margin to 95% in OBJ's second term, even though he contested with Ojukwu, which happens to be an Igbo man under Abga. Igbos didn't look at tribe, but they still voted for Obasanjo, yet they were not told that they were arrogant or tribalist. At the end of OBJ's tenure, late Musa Yar'Adua came in. It was at the same period that Owele Rogers Okorocha was contesting. Owele was an Igbo man, but they voted for Yar'Adua overwhelmingly, not considering the fact that he ran against Rogers Okorocha, an Igbo man. Igbos were not informed that they were arrogant and tribalist. They still lay out allegiance to Nigerian project, but unfortunately, Yorubas and Core North never appreciated their sacrifice. When Yar'Adua died, Goodluck Ebere Jonathan started being shaky. Igbos trooped out and with one accord ensured that Goodluck Jonathan was not thrown out by certain northern cabals from becoming the next Nigerian president. Despite all the intrigues of the north, few Yorubas Igbos stood up for Goodluck Jonathan. Goodluck Jonathan happened to come from Ijaw, where Asari, who has sworn to hate the Igbos, came from, and even at that, they voted for him when he contested against President Muhammadu Buhari. They didn't look at tribe, neither were Igbos arrogant or tribalist. When in 2015, President Muhammadu Buhari came back to contest against Jonathan, Igbos rejected President Muhammadu Buhari. The truth was that Igbos are a discerning set of people and will rather go hungry than support someone who has nothing to offer Nigeria. It doesn't matter if the person is Nwandiala. Igbos saw President Muhammadu Buhari as a bad fruit and deliberately chosen not to vote for him both in his first and second term. Their choice of not voting Muhammadu Buhari stripped them of their citizenship rights that created an arithmetic formula of 97% against 5%. And today Igbos are not represented in the military high command of Nigeria and many other sensitive positions. It didn't end there. The volcano of hatred erupted against the Igbos. And today, they dare not ask for any right in Nigeria irrespective of a deliberate humiliation against the Igbos. They are still minding their own business. They have decided to focus on their buying and selling ingenuity. But at any instance of insecurity breaches, Igbo business are targeted for destruction. The hatred is beyond verbalization. But even at that, Igbos have asked the federal government of Nigeria to allow them to go, but it has been construed to mean treason. How can you keep what you hate? It's even more disheartening when an elder that they respect so much, Tanko Yakasi, could publicly discredit Igbos as a people who are isolationist. We are talking about injustice and nepotistic politics in Nigeria, and Tanko has nothing else to describe the Igbos but as loners. If you take time to look at genuinely and explore how much the Igbos have sacrificed for the unity of Nigeria, and yet an elder statesman who ought to speak the truth is ridiculing a race because Igbos for once decided to stop and vote for their own son. All these while that Igbo were voting other tribesmen, they weren't isolating themselves from Nigeria. Igbos are becoming a tribe that will be spanked and only to be told you are stupid. Erroneously, the Hausa Fulanis and Yorubas believe that they own the country and Igbos are their slaves. To make the Igbos non-existent, luckily for the Igbos, this time around they found one of their son as a reputable person to vie for the post of the presidency. Peter Obi became the symbol of unity, and Igbo looked up to Yoruba to help them in achieving this feat. It wasn't possible because someone's ambition must override the mutual respect for Igbo's inclusion. Equally as expected, the saboteurs in Igbo land collaborated with other tribes to speak against Peter Obi. People like Uzodinma, Rochas, Soludo, Amechi, Wike, and many others. Despite the betrayal of Peter Obi by Igbo Zefulefu, Igbo showcased the best of political system that destroy imposition, tribal and religious sentiment. The much wrong impression that Igbos will not support their own ended up being the best outcome in all the Igbo land. Many have started insinuating that all the southeast states gave Peter Obi massive votes, and many answers were, why shouldn't it be? They have been neglected as nothing, and to the extent that most governors started taunting the Igbos as if they won't vote for their own beloved son. Igbos are not novice in politics and have been the pillar of most of the political parties in Nigeria. Igbos have paid their dues and have voted PDP rightly from the present political dispensation. And what did they get? Humiliations. Win or lose, they have shown their brothers and sisters from other ethnic nationalities that they are not novice in politics. The agonies of Igbo politics are that they are criminals, greedy, arrogant tribalists, and cannot be trusted. And they ask, what have any Nigeria entrusted in the hands of the Igbos? And it turned out to be distrust. Just a little taste of Peter Obi, and the trajectory of Nigerian politics have changed. And they know he will change the narrative. Nigerians are not only crying and shaking, but the structure of criminality are crumbling very fast. Never again will Nigerian politics be a hijacked of criminals, drug barons, and terrorists. And the simple truth is that Igbos have decided to play politics in its full regalia. We are seeing a new Nigeria where no ethnic national, minor or major, should be treated as dustbin pickers, and where no Nigeria, irrespective of ethnics or religious beliefs, should be considered as an infidel or a second-class citizen. Nigeria is going through the most traumatic experience ever, confronted her presidential election and general living standard. And if the truth be told, we should not be talking about a flawed election, but start rounding up all the criminals who have aided and branded Nigeria as an anti-democratic country. In conclusion, if we allow thieves, armed robbers, bandits, terrorists, kidnappers, fraudsters, drug barons and criminals to lead this country, we have inadvertently informed the world of the kind of family members we are from. There is no historical justification why Peter Obi should be rigged out of his mandate because he is an Igbo man. Igbos deserve a national warm embrace, but where they are taunted as a race without Nigerian citizenship right, they should be allowed to go their separate ways. After all, some European countries have less than 2 million population numerical strength and they are living in peace among themselves. The agony of being Igbo has made all Nigerians, and today no one will escape the grisly effect of wicked policies against the Igbos and other minority nationalities. This article was voiced by Motherland, but the original source was written by Dr. Sonny Obimaduka, DMS, is an author, resource personality. Thank you for watching today's edition of Motherland. Do well to like and subscribe